I'm James Maunder, Chief Information Officer at the London Clinic, which is a private, charitable, independent hospital in London. As CIO, my responsibility is for all aspects of technology provision to the hospital. So we ensure that we have the right infrastructure hosting and the right infrastructure provision, and then each part of the hospital has the technologies it needs to be able to fulfill its function, which is primarily about patient care and patient outcomes. We're a medium-sized organisation, so we're 1,000 staff, 10 operating theatres, 200 beds, but we're complex without scale. So the team has to cover endoscopy systems, radiotherapy systems, theatre systems, whichever bit of the hospital needs technology, my team have to cover that. And then we also deliver all the new stuff. So new projects to deliver system upgrades, new systems, but increasingly moving away from systems to process orchestration. So defining what is the process the hospital needs to execute, and then putting in place the right technology components to orchestrate and automate that process. By attending events like this and other events, and encouraging my team to do the same. We might come on later to talk about culture, and I think culture is really important. I think historically, pardon me, the London Clinic has had a very inward-looking culture, and that's been to its, that's been a problem really. So I try and encourage my team. In fact, I target my team to try and attend at least 3 or 4 events each a year in an area of their interest. So, for example, I have a very talented data architect, first data architect the London Clinic's ever had, a brilliant woman called Irene. She's recently been to Women in Data conference and is really starting to set the agenda in the independent health providers network data area. So by attending events and starting to become active in the broader healthcare community, we start to stay ahead and shape opinion, but also learn from others. The biggest challenge at the London Clinic is that point I made around we have complexity without scale. So we have some very, very old systems that probably will not last another 5 to 10 years. So we have to find a way of replacing them, but in a very financially constrained environment. And so historically, the can has been kicked down the road. Well, it's too difficult. We'll look at it next year. We'll look at it next year. We'll look at it next year. But eventually the runway comes to an end and you end up going over the edge. So what we're trying to do is saying, well, if we can't afford to replace a big old system with a big new system, which is probably not the right thing to do anyway, how do we decompose that system into its component parts, understand what our business needs, and then automate those business needs on an agile, do this, then move on to this, then move on to this, then move on to this. So we sort of take it in bite-sized chunks rather than trying to do it all together. The other sort of key challenges at the clinic will be around data. There's a very fast-moving agenda on healthcare data and what can be shared and what can't be shared, and the expectations around that. And of course, cybersecurity is an ever-present challenge. In terms of the broader career, it has been that point around keeping up to date with what's happening. And it seems every 2 or 3 years there is a new buzz phrase that everybody gets terribly excited about, and everybody claims their product is it. Whether it's in the cloud or whether it's in the metaverse or whether it's artificial intelligence. So keeping up with trends, but also separating the noise from the reality is a real challenge. I think there is a talent shortage. I think we lack, cybersecurity is a key area. There are a lot of people who would claim to be cybersecurity experts, but individuals with really deep, broad and business applicable skills, I think, are few and far between and very difficult to find. People with really fantastic data skills likewise. And I think for an organisation like the London Clinic, where we can't afford to compete on salary, but what we can compete on is culture. And so my answer to that challenge has always been to build really inclusive cultures in which people can be their whole selves at work, where 19 days out of 20 are enjoyable and fulfilling, and at the end of the year, by finding work enjoyable, by finding it fulfilling, we deliver a heck of a lot for the organisation we're there to serve. So my priorities are renewal. So as I said, as a hospital, we run some very old bits of technology. They've been allowed to persist for far too long. Even though we're in a very financially constrained position, we have to start the journey. It might only be baby steps, but those baby steps will build a little bit of momentum, and the steps in 2024 can be a bit bigger and a bit bigger in 2025. And then by 2030, all that horrible old legacy stuff will be gone, and we will have the orchestrated processes that we seek. So far, I've been in conversations around environmental sustainability. So I've been learning about type 3 emissions and how to start a meaningful journey of action and celebration that helps organisations get to a better place from an environmental perspective.